Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jane, and this channel is dedicated to having a space where I share a little bit of my life with you, about different experiences and learnings that I had throughout the years. So the topic of our today's video is my experiences with Hashimoto disease, how I was diagnosed, some mistakes that I made along the way, and some things that I wish I knew sooner. And once I was diagnosed, actually I also watched a lot of YouTube videos about it and read about different materials and information there in the internet. And this information usually provides a very good overview of this condition, but from the doctory symptomy point of view. One thing that I think that material didn't cover is the psychological aspect of it, because this condition is not a light condition. It's a chronic autoimmune disease for the rest of the life of the person, so it definitely affects you psychologically. And this is something that I really want to cover in this video as well, because it's a very important topic to talk about. And let's say my mission today, my goal today would be to help you in case you have this condition, or perhaps somebody close to you has this condition, to start feeling and treating it as not a negative disease or part of your life, but rather look into it, as a new version of yourself, something that we now have, and something that you now have, and something that you learn to live with, and accept and love yourself, and being kind to yourself no matter what. So if that sounds interesting, let's get started. First of all, of course, a disclaimer: I'm not a doctor, I'm not the endocrinologist, I'm not a hormone specialist. I'm just a person who has experiences with this condition. So Hashimoto disease is the autoimmune chronic condition that, simply put, triggers your body to attack your thyroid. And there's really no treatment discovered yet for this condition, so the only thing we can do is take the hormones which the thyroid would otherwise produce if it would not be destroyed by the body. So basically we are just covering up, let's say, the thyroid being destroyed, but there's no way of stopping the body to destroy your thyroid, so it will eventually die. It affects you in all area of your life, your body, how you feel psychologically, and this is something that I want to address in my video as well, because I feel that people and doctors as well, surprisingly, treat this condition very lightly, but that's not how it works. It, as I said, affects so many things, and I think that we should talk about this more, and we should cover this topic more, and actually show and how hard and difficult this condition is. In fact, I can give you an example. This is exactly what happened to me, and I can give you an example of my story, how I was diagnosed. So I was going to my previous doctor, and I did some blood tests, and they always found high level of inflammation in my blood. And I asked, could it be related to my thyroid? They said no, because you're too young. And usually people who experience this condition are women post-partum, so after giving birth. And basically, I was not taken seriously because of my age. But this condition doesn't have any, let's say, age limitation or gender limitation. Anyone can have this condition. I know many cases when people got diagnosed in their teens, but to kind of meet this treatment from the doctor in this kind of perspective, this actually stopped me from discovering this condition much earlier, when it was at the early stage. So yeah, and I listened to the doctor, and I felt like, oh, maybe I am thinking too much, I'm overthinking, maybe there's nothing wrong with me. And I kind of continued with my life feeling bad, in general, and just thinking, okay, this is how I'm supposed to feel, and this is very sad. And it continued until the point where I moved and I had to change hospitals and I got a new doctor. And that doctor, I came to him and I explained my symptoms, and he immediately told me that, well, I think that you might have some condition called Hashimoto Disease, but let's run some tests and blood work and see if it's actually the case. So once my blood work came in, and they also did the biopsy of my thyroid, which was a horrible procedure, to put the needle in your throat to take a piss of the thyroid as well for the examination. So once all these results came in, I had super high concentration of the TPO, the antibodies. It was like 6 or 7 times more than it's supposed to. My inflammation level were high. My hormones were completely not aligned. So it was clear that I had indeed a Hashimoto disease. And he told me that I've been having it most likely for years because of how bad of the state my thyroid already was at that point. So the lesson one here learned, and this is something for sure for you to remember and take out from this video, is always trust your body and listen to your body. If you're thinking that something is wrong, if you're not feeling well, go to the doctor and don't feel embarrassed of, asking for help and, asking for a doctor for a checkup. In the worst case scenario, or should I say the best case scenario, you're gonna check it and there's nothing wrong with you, so at least you know that everything is okay and you can relax. But if you actually had something, this can help you to discover this problem much earlier, and not to discover it when it's too late. It wasn't too late in my case when I discovered, but definitely, the treatment would have been much easier for me if it would be discovered earlier in my life. What I'm currently doing for my condition to kind of feel better is taking the Levaxine hormone, or is levothyroxine, the full name. I hope I pronounced that right. This is basically the substitution hormone for the metabolism hormone, which would otherwise be produced by the thyroid. I started with 25, and then I went to 50, and then I went to 75, and I went to 100. So currently I'm taking 100 milligrams daily. And how I went to, it's of course you need to always go and check your blood work and do your blood work and test which kind of levels of hormones you have, how high is your inflammation, etc. And that will tell you if you need to increase the dose or you need to stay at the dose that you're currently at. And of course that all of this kind of work and recommendations should come from your doctor. Let's talk about the symptoms now. And the way I want to take this part is that I'm gonna list the symptom, and then I'm gonna tell you how this symptom, how much of the symptom I experienced, and also the psychological aspect of it. So the first one is tiredness, and that was a big one for me, because I remember coming from work and just, falling on my bed, completely exhausted. I didn't even have energy to go to the shower. It was a big challenge for me to just get up and go to the shower. Sometimes I would not even want to do that, because the only thing I wanted to do is to lay down and just fall asleep. And I would see all these people there after work, going to the gym, meeting friends, hanging out, having so much energy. And I would feel so bad that here there are people like that, and I do not even have energy to get up from the bed, Of course, it's now better since I started treating the condition, and there are some days where I feel better, and there are some days where I feel worse and I have no energy, despite having the treatment, right? So I'm trying to say here, if you're feeling sometimes tired, even if you're treating this condition, that's okay, don't worry about it too much. Stay at home and relax, instead of beating yourself up for not having enough energy to go out and do something, So please be kind to yourselves and don't overthink it too much. Listen to your body and let it rest when it feels like it. Difficulty to concentrate, that was another big symptom for me. So it got so bad that, for example, when you read the sentence in the book, and I think it happens to most of us there, you read the sentence and then you have to like reread it 5 times if you're like tired or you cannot concentrate properly to actually understand what that sentence said. Imagine this, but for everything in your life. So whenever you talk to people, whenever you work, whenever you watch a movie, or in general, like to go out and do something, you are just, completely always are not concentrated. It's really hard for you to concentrate. So when I would be just talking to a friend, I have to like put all of my energy to try and concentrate on what he or she was saying so I can actually participate in the conversation. Anxiety and depression. So I never had depression, so I don't think I can comment on this one. But the other one, the anxiety, that was something that was really affecting me a lot. So I started suddenly having, I wouldn't say anxiety attacks, but I would just worry about everything. I would be so anxious about so many things. So my recommendation here, if you're going through something like this, perhaps seek for the help from the psychologist. That's what I did, and I had the course with my psychologist who helped me, let's say, to see things in a new light, alongside, of course, the hormonal treatment that I have right now, and it helped tremendously. So I really, really recommend that. Dry skin and hair loss. So this one again, it's something that I really did experience as well. I definitely felt that my hair became weaker, they became less healthy, and in general, drier as well. Dry skin, on the other hand, was something that I experienced more. So I didn't really, let's say, tie it to the thyroid condition though, because I was also on birth control at that point. And the birth control can make your skin drier as well. So I was thinking that perhaps it was the birth control effect. But yeah, my skin was super flaky and still sometimes is. Nails as well become very, this is the third one here, very like thin. So to the point when I couldn't open the box with my nails because they would just like, I would take my nail and it would like bend like this literally. But nowadays, after the treatment, I feel much better there as well. Being sensitive to cold, and I know that I talk to a lot of people who have this condition as well, and this is a big one as well for most of the people, and I still experience it, so it didn't go away with when I started taking the thyroid medication. And basically this is when even in the warm room you have super cold hands and feet, and I don't know why is it happening. I didn't really know the medical or point of view behind the whole science of this, right? But it is a thing actually. Sometimes my friends would be like, oh my god, why are your hands are so cold? And I just don't know, like it's just there just are. So this is something I definitely experiencing up to this day still. Muscle cramps and muscle weakness. So muscle weakness, not so much for me, to be honest, but muscle cramps, oh my god. Sometimes I would just wake up in the night from the cramp, from the pain. And that's not, of course, the best way to wake up. Here, of course, I recommend to see the physiotherapist and perhaps take some supplements like magnesium, so it helps to relax your muscles. This one probably just for girls, but another symptom that I experienced was heavy periods. So when I was on birth control, it wasn't the case because the birth control controlled the, let's say, how heavy my period was. But as soon as I stopped, and I kind of felt that my periods were maybe triple as big and as heavy and painful as they were before. But sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But yeah, this is also another symptom of this condition. And last but not least, weight gain. And I've been maybe struggling accepting that symptom psychologically the most, So yeah, as an example, I actually wanted to start this YouTube channel for quite a while now, and I've been postponing it because it is scary, to accept yourself and to show yourself to the world. But I kind of try to lead by example here. As I said, the mission and goal of my today's video is to learn how to be accepting and be kind to yourself, and to myself in this case. So apart from being not harsh on yourself, being kind to yourself, the first learning that is super important is your vitamins and your vitamin levels and deficiencies. So there are some vitamins that are really tightly connected, intertwined, let's say, with this Hashimoto condition. First one being vitamin D. And again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know the science, let's say, of this whole connection. But it says that if you have low vitamin D, you have higher risks of developing this condition. So when I went to my doctor's like 6 months ago, I went to just check, and he recommended me to take this blood test and check my vitamins as well. And I had a super low vitamin D, and he said that most likely I've been having it throughout the years already. And who knows, maybe it somehow contributed to me developing this condition faster, or in general developing it. So after the blood test, he recommended me to take the following vitamins. So I'm taking vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin B12 and folate, omega-3, and I'm also taking the magnesium. So these are the 5 vitamins that I'm currently taking. And I mean, this is not saying that you should do the same. What I'm saying is that we're all different. We have different bodies and different needs. So definitely go to your doctor, do the blood work, and check which kind of vitamins, if any, you need to supplement according to your doctor's recommendation. The second thing to consider about is birth control, and this one was a huge for me, and this was maybe one of the biggest mistakes I've been doing all these years. I mean, I don't know if it's a universal fact, but once I was talking to this gynecologist doctor, that's what she told me, that the birth control can influence in the worst absorption of your thyroid medication. So basically you're not getting the same effect, and you're not really addressing the problem. We are all different, of course. Maybe for some people it's not a problem, but for me, from my experience, as soon as I stopped birth control, I felt so much better, and all the symptoms that we just talked about, they have improved tremendously. I felt almost like a brand new person. And the last 2 things, I'm gonna combine this because they're quite short, and I mean, they're kind of connected as well. The first one, please, every single year of your life from now on, if you have this condition, sign up for a yearly ultrasound check of your thyroid. Because I mean, since we have this condition, we unfortunately have a higher risk of developing cancer, thyroid cancer. So it's really important to have a yearly check of your thyroid on the ultrasound to see, if everything is okay, if you don't have any knots there, just to be proactive and not reactive. And the second thing is only relatable for women, especially when the women are planning to get pregnant. If you have a condition and it's not treated properly with a proper dose of medication, or it's not treated at all, it has a higher chance of miscarrying the baby later, because you have so many of these antibodies within your body that might attack the baby, and it might not survive. So definitely something to be considering and be careful about. So this is it from me on the Hashimoto disease, on this whole topic. I really hope that you found this video helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I will make sure to reply to them and to expand on the maybe points that I missed. And I mean, if you're like me, who is going through this condition or has been just diagnosed, please feel free to comment on that as well in the comments section below. So we can talk about this. We can find a community of people who are struggling with this, and we can support each other. In this video, I have also touched upon some other topics, so the birth control, the vitamins, and the weight loss journey. So if you are interested in hearing more, please make sure to subscribe so we can talk about this together. And thank you guys very much for watching. I see you next week, and bye bye.